When music gets hard, come see Professor Lead You.
Hey guys, I'm Professor Lead Youth, and this is my review for Day 4 of Theory 1. And essentially all we talked about was sharps, flats, and naturals, and what they look like, how to identify them. And we touched back again on pitch notation. So to get into it, first thing we went over was essentially sharps. So I got my fancy dandy little piano here. And the black keys, as we know, are the sharp or flat notes, because these are all natural. C, D, E, F, all of them are just natural. So the little black keys mean it's going to either be a sharp or flat. So in this case, this key here would be C sharp or D flat. Flat just means to go down. C sharp means to go up, or sharp means to go up. About as simple as that. So for here, if I wanted to see which sharp note is that would be going up, so D going up, D sharp. And what flat note is that? That would be E going down, E flat. Hopefully it's not too confusing. Again, should be review, but that's the gist of that. Because now you guys are going to start seeing key signatures. So for like a normal key signature of just with B flat in it, and you see a note on this line, we already know in treble clef that that's B, but now with this key signature, it tells us that this B would be flat, whereas other notes like this A here would just be A, because the key signature doesn't say if that'd be flat, sharp, or anything. It'd just be a normal A natural. Sometimes they can get even trickier. Let's say you have just a blank key signature. That's cool, right? I'll zoom out a little bit. Just a blank key signature, nothing there, and you see, once again, a B and an A. But sometimes they'll go like this, and they'll throw a little flat symbol in front of it. Or they could just throw a sharp symbol in front of it. And of course, that's then going to change the note. So even though it's not at the front, like over here, it's not at the front telling you that all B's are going to be flat. It's just here it's telling you, well, this one B is going to be sharp and this one A is going to be flat. Later on in the classes, we're going to touch more on, the flats and sharps carrying through the measures, or what we call accidentals. These would be accidentals in this case because they're once a measure kind of deal. Whereas in here, this is the key signature. This B flat means the whole piece you're going to be B flat until the key signature changes again, which some pieces have multiple key signature changes. You're just going to have to watch out for it. Anyway, so again, that's just the logistics of the flat and sharp. You also have the natural, of course. So let's say we add in a third note. This is G, but it's G natural. They normally don't put the natural sign after G unless it has to be there. Sometimes the key signature, let's say it had G sharp in the key signature or something, whatever, right? Which would be up here. Anyway, if they had G sharp in the key signature, that would mean this would always be G sharp. Whenever you see a G, it's going to be sharp, unless it looks like this. And they're telling you, the composer is telling you specifically, no, that's not G sharp anymore. For that one measure, it's going to be G natural. Again, very confusing. Hopefully you guys touched on it a little bit. If not, I can always explain it further if you guys need a little more in-depth help with it. Anyway, the other thing we touched up on is double sharps and double flats. So I like to just make a simple chart here instead of trying to just talk it out. Some people are more visual. So that's your natural, right? We're going to call that basically middle ground. That's our starting point. If we go down, that's where we hit our first flat. If we go down another way, and another step, that's where we get our double flat. So essentially, You take natural, you go down 1/2 step to get to the first flat. And you'd go down another 1/2 step to get to our double flat. So in total, if you were going from natural to double flat, this whole way would be just one whole step. Now it's going to be the same thing for going up. And of course, I didn't give myself enough room. But anyway, if you go up 1/2 step, that's where you hit your sharp. And if you go up another 1/2 step, that's where you get your double sharp, which is just an X. I realized that's now running into everything, but that's essentially your chart. You have natural to go up to sharp, to go up to double sharp, which is again just an X, to go from down to flat, down to double flat. And also this whole way, going from natural to double sharp is one whole step, like going from natural to double flat is one whole step. So if we go back to our handy dandy little piano here, if I'm pointing to the note F and I say find F double sharp, which would look like this, F with a little X up at the top, almost F to the X, anyway, that would mean that you would go F sharp would be here, because you'd be going up, sharp means up, so you go up 1/2 step, but then the double sharp means you'd go up another 1/2 step, so you go up 1/2 step here, up another 1/2 step would mean you land on the note G. So F double sharp actually equals G. And F double sharp can be written multiple ways, by the way, but that's the way I've seen it, more common. Anyway, let's say we wanted to find what A double flat was. That would be, we'd start at A, and you'd go down for the first flat, down 1/2 step, and for another 1/2 step, you go, for the other flat, you go down another 1/2 step, which would actually put you back at G again, so they both equal G. So F double sharp is the same as A double flat, essentially. Anyway, you're not going to see double sharps or double flats all too often at all, really. Oh, the other part of them that does trip people up, though, is let's say we see just A flat, right? But let's say you want to know how to get down to A double flat if you're already at A flat. So here, we're already at A flat, but you want to get down to A double flat. That does not mean you go down 2 1/2 steps again, because you already have the one flat. So if you're already at the one flat, A flat, then and you're going to go to A double flat, you're only adding one more flat, which means only one more 1/2 step. So you're still going to land at G. If you're going from A flat to A double flat, you're still only landing at G. Some people start counting too far and they're like, oh, so if you're already at A flat, go down, to whatever. No. If you already have one flat, you're just adding one more flat onto it, which each flat would be 1/2 step, just like each sharp would be 1/2 step. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that too much. You guys shouldn't be seeing that too much, if at all, really. So that's essentially just for flats, sharps, and naturals. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I am talking kind of fast, but again, should be a review, right? The last thing I wanted to touch up on is we love pitch notation. I think I've talked about that in my last 3 videos, but it just keeps coming back. Anyway, so basically just to touch up on it again, let's say we do treble clef here. Let's find starting C, or middle C, what they call it, is below the line, below the bottom line. That's technically middle C, which is also, as we learned in the other video, C4. So if we wanted to figure out, well, then what's the next note? What would be C5? It'd be the C an octave higher, which would be right here. That would be C5. So as a quick recap, what would be G? It's G here. What would be the number behind it? It would be G4. because we work our way up. You hit C4, that means everything in between C4 and C5 will be 4. So now we figured out that that would be G4 by taking the long route, writing all the C's out. We want to get to the point that if I put a note like here, that we can just figure out what note that is essentially. So we already know that would be an E, but what's a number? You just gotta think about it. So we know C4 is down here, C5 is here, and C6 would be somewhere up here. Should be a couple lines. Anyway. So if it's in between, so there's 4, this is 5 and 6. If it's in between 5 and 6, what E would that be? It'd be E5, because if C5 is here, it goes up. All these in between are 5 until you hit C6. It's very important to start figuring out pitch notation, because especially if you guys do like half theory, half piano kind of thing, they're gonna be like, you know, press C7, and you're just gonna have to know kind of how to find it. Or if they say, you know, start writing out in sheet music form, essentially, where would C7 be, you gotta be able to figure it out. Anyway, so again, I know I talk about pitch notation a lot, but hopefully now you guys can just start to recognize, if I draw a note there, what is it? G4. It hasn't quite made it up to C5 up here, and it's past C4 down here. So it's going to be all 4 in there. That's how you know it's going to be G4. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that now. Like, once again, if you guys need anything else, any more videos you need me to make, anything you want me to explain a little bit better, I'm here for you. Anyway, have a nice night.